AH imported some beautiful locomotives from Rivarossi called the cab forwards. Beautiful little model right here. I want to show you guys how to completely disassemble it, clean it up, lube it up, put it back together, and make it a great runner once again. I'm Ron with Classic Model Trains. Follow along. I'll show you how. Well, let's take a little gander at this thing here. For steam locomotive, one of the uglier ones that I've ever seen with the way that this looks right here. And it feels awkward to handle. These steam tubes, I'm going to break those. Too much nice detail on it. Where do you even grab it on? Right there, I suppose. Feels kind of spindly a little bit. Are these hand railings? Looks like they're bent over. Ooh, easy here now. Easy. Dirty. Yeah, it's a filthy one. There's a traction tire there. There's one right there I can see. Is that linkage bent? No. It just looks it because the way that these can move back and forth. This one's a little bit. That one's just a little bit. Wheels are kind of dirty. When this is all hooked up, this would be looking like this. And the tender does half the power pickup. I wonder how they get the... Oh, it's an oil burner. All right. I thought guys that sat back here and shovel coal in, but that won't work because boiler front end right there. So it's an oil burner. And it would funnel everything up. Oh, dang it. It's missing... It'd be missing that tube that's supposed to be right there. These steps, they've gotten a little bent up a little bit right there. That one seems to be in good shape. I sat around, I tried to figure out how to take this apart. I seen this one up here, and I knew the big boy, when I worked on it, that they like to hide screws underneath stuff. I looked at it for quite some time, and I figured, well, let's get out the destruction manual. This here is an AHM, a parts catalog and scratch builder's Bible. Dave Hoover out there in Massachusetts sent this to me. I don't usually have to look at the directions too often, but these articulateds, they're busy. We can find out that it's got two different production. Well, it's got three. Here's the 68 version, and you can tell from the way that the motor is. And then it goes to the 71, and the motor a little bit different again, some of the parts. And then it goes to a 74 to 77 production. And I stared at them long enough where I started to look at this number 2 screw right here. They call it a center body screw. And they all had it. And then I seen this thing right here, number 15, which they call the whistle. So I looked at it and I realized, hey, look at that. I can take that off. And I found myself another screw. So I should be able to pull this one out up here. That is not very long. Yeah. And then this one in here, which looks like it should be pretty long, according to the way that direction looks. Sure. This one does not have machine threads on it. It's got more of a wood thread. Now, if I played my cards right and I read everything correctly, I still can't get the boiler off. Looks like there's a small separation underneath this cab right here, but it is tight. Nerve-wracking? Yes. The cab is flexing, but these hand railings, they're connected underneath under here. I'm going to have to say that we got to take those out because they're underneath these steps, one on each side. Do we have anything else now? Is it more of anything? No. Oh, there's little screws up inside there that a guy couldn't see. They're down right in here. This is the majority, the hardest part is just trying to get into the dang things. Here it is. Okay. There's one screw there. There's one screw over here. See it? Here. Ha 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 ha. Oh, don't lose those. That's a lot of stuff to take off just to take off that. God. Filthy? It is just grubby. I'm going to use these little paint trays here, and I break down stuff into component levels because of the brain cell loss from years of drinking beer. Makes a guy forget stuff sometimes. So if we group them up and, this is what we took off to get into the thing, then you'll kind of know what you got to put back on to put it back together. That makes sense to me. Now this is pretty much what I expected because it looks just like the big boy. What motor do we have here? By looking at this motor, and by looking at this picture, This is the 1968 version because the other ones have got a smaller can motor like that. So it's nice to know which one we're working with. And I also know from past experience, these are the gearboxes. I'm going to call it a miter box. They call it a plastic gearbox. The reason I call it a miter box is because it turns the power, the flow that's flowing through it, 90 degrees. Comes in here, turns it 90, comes out there. Driveline. This other miter box, same length screws as these ones. Oh, another miter box. Oh, this is what they look like when they're open. Plus the older ones, they have a tendency to crack. That one looks a little creepy looking. Driveline. This is our front truck pickup. I wonder what this is. Hey, that was nice of them. Heck yeah. That's made to unplug, so the guy can take this apart and you don't have to solder it or unsolder it. I like the way these guys think. Look at this. What is this going to do? These guys here are the little drive shafts that go down to the drive boxes underneath. They clip into this area here. See, there's a line in it. So they'll go on and then the power will get picked up underneath there to drive the trucks. I know we got to get this crossbar off here to separate these. Those look like this. Long slot goes towards the pilot. You can see that this is pivoting around this bolt right here. So I'm betting if we pull this out, that's going to bring this front all the way off. Nice. And that's what that pivot bolt right there looks like. And this is the rear, but I'm going to keep messing it up pretty much all the time. This pilot, it's being held on right here. So we can take that off. Pilot screw. This motor, we got these two screws right here. Want to take it all the way apart. Want to clean it. Want to just see how it works. What makes this thing tick. Two little small screws like that hold the motor in. I see a screw right here, which is more than likely holding that weight. Oh, that fell right over in my parts and scattered them. Who would have thought? Oh, these gearboxes, they look like they're lubed. Get those out of the way. That screw we just pulled out. Here's a screw right here. Pull that one out. And I'm willing to bet this screw right here is doing something just as well. I know what that is. That's holding in this rear truck and allowing it to pivot. So that's got a machine screw, not a machine, a threaded screw like this. This comes out sideways, all the way out like this. This was sitting like this. This brings that rear truck out. Sure. Our weight is now loose. We're about ready to start cleaning this thing. I'm going to put all these things here in one little section of this and then promptly bump it sometime throughout this process so all these screws are messed up. At least I'm a realist. This plate here, what is it doing? Oh, here we go. It is hooked on to the front ladders. Is it going to come? Yeah. There's a light underneath there. Who knew? Boy, that's way down inside there. This is all one piece. That coupler looks like it might come out, but it's not very operational. It's more scale than anything else. We can now wash this very carefully. Toothbrush, some soap, wash all these components. This, the upper boiler, the motor, it will test it just here. 2 brushes, just a little 3-polar, huh? Man, front engine mount right there. These guys, okay, here's our front steam tube. This rear truck right here, this trailing truck right here, 1 screw right there, and then it's got a hook. This spring comes down and hooks on this lever. This is going to come out, that little shoulder bolt. This one right here will come out, which looks like that, and I believe that the bottom of the truck will open up. Because we got some gears in there we need to grease up. And I know that spring is kind of a hassle, so that's why I'm trying not to take it apart. And here we are right here. This is the lower miter gearbox right here, is what I call them. And a feller doesn't want to take this stuff apart too much. This thing is just kind of pushed in right in this area. And if we can get him to come up some, Did it move or did it just feel like it moved? It's pressed in. Oh, it's moving. It's just scaring me. Because it's not like you can just go out and buy some parts for a 1968 cab Ford. That's what I'm trying to say. Gently back and forth. Come on now. This is just, you're just being difficult now. It's really all you're doing. Fine, if I can roll these out of the way. That is a tight fit. My goodness. There he comes. Holy moly. That's like pulling a molar out by yourself. I'm going to leave this all alone because I can come in here with Q-tips and mineral spirits and wipe all this up, leaving all this linkage. Whew, you know, you don't want to be messing around with that. Here's our pickup coming in from the tender right through there. That's what this wire is the tender pickup. This one here will come apart pretty much the same way. Take this one bolt out. This plate will come out. Well, I'll just do it right now. Take this bolt out. Get this plate out. And then you can see it's the same thing with the gearbox right there. These gearboxes will come apart and they'll need to be cleaned up and then re-greased. And these get brittle because they probably used a petroleum-based grease on them back in the day. They need to be used with some synthetic multi-purpose. Look at that. Same exact plate. This one just doesn't have the spring on it. I love it. Components. I took this whole thing apart with a standard screwdriver and I just used this because my fingers are too big to hold the screws. Can you believe it? One tool. I'm going to warm up the ultrasonic and I'm going to start working on getting these parts cleaned up. These upper miter boxes, they're both identical. The gear, I don't think this gear is going to come out all the way because it's got this pin in it right here. But the front and the back are the same. So I'm going to put them in the same baggie to get the same ultrasonic done to them. I don't see any thrust washers on these shafts right here. These guys will just come right off. Looks like there's an inner washer. Oh yeah, look at that. There is, right there. Does that one have one? Yes. You can see them sitting right in here. So something to look forward to when you go to empty them. Greasy. These are really what we want to clean up the most. So both those are in there. Now I just use simple green. Whatever type of degreaser you want to use. A lot of people will comment what they're using. It's like, okay, you know, if it's a degreaser and you like it and it's in your area, use what you have. I'm going to put a little bit of water in this. I'm just going to close it so it doesn't leak all over the desk. Oh, now these lower ones, they look just about the same. 2 pieces of plastic and that. So I'm going to put those, I'm going to dig this guy out. They're the same front and back. So I'll put them in. We'll degreaser them also. Make our job easier here. I blew it. I thought I'd throw them drive units in with the simple green in the ultrasonic cleaner and buzz them up real fast. And I threw them in to preheat them, you know, to preheat the water so it'll clean better. And I used 100% simple green because the first time it didn't do very good. Oh, let me show you what happened. Oh, no. For some reason, I didn't anticipate that. Like I thought they were molded in black. And I did them both because if you're going to blow it all the way. Well, I guess now I get to take the drivetrain, the wheels and the linkage and everything off and then strip them and paint them and then reassemble them. Yeah. Guess we'll get busy on that then. Thought this was going to be a quickie. I did. Not today. Thought it was going to be a quickie. This is the rear one because of this thing right here on it. Oh, shoot. We got this one screw right here. And what it's going to do, I'm not 100%. I need to have some controlled disassembly going on. I'm thinking, yes. All the wheels are certainly loose. And I think that is this just like snapped on right here, this guide? It is, sort of. Pull it back. It's going to be easy to take it apart. It always is. It's the putting it back together that's going to be bad. So we can see where I got my work cut out for me at. I just can't believe it. Can't believe I did that. How will this one work for me? God, there's paint jammed all over it. Golly. Okay, another screw. And this makes sense because it's going to be the pickup from the tender. Is that a spring? That was sort of a spring. This, oh, well, that's nice that comes off. Sure. Steam pipe, which for some reason seemed to be hot glued on there. Another screw. So I'm going to say probably the same game as the rear one. Bless these guys' little hearts. Okay. Yes. Oh, it's not bad. I certainly blowed it more ways. This is black. I mean, it's black on its own. So I don't have to paint that. It looks like I got to paint 2 steam chests. It's really all we got to do. It'll be okay. This will be fine. It's fine. A little bit of this and a couple hours worth of prep time. And now we've got to just wait for the paint to dry. Lessons learned the hardest are the ones that are remembered the best. Well, since I got to repaint the steam cylinders, I decided maybe I'll use silver on them. Let's see if that's prototypical. So I got online and started rooting around, and Southern Pacific never made any of them look pretty at all. It's like, you could have, but they didn't. So I figured, well, I guess I'll leave it alone. I don't want to have a silver steam cylinders on it because it'll look funny. And I think that the GS4 locomotive is absolutely gorgeous, and the color scheme is fantastic. But whoever come up with this thing right here, I just don't know. It just looks incomplete. Is it me, or... I mean, I like a good fantasy paint scheme, but... whew, this one... okay. I don't know if you guys are noticing this or not, but my transformation into complete old man is almost done. I can now sit around and watch the utility guys that are in the neighborhood. I can walk up to them and visit with them. Stand around and keep an eye on what they're doing. Find other old fellers sitting around at a store someplace. Well, I'll sit down beside them and strike up a conversation, and they'll chat up a storm with me. This getting old stuff's... there's a lot of benefits to it, you know. You can just sit around and just visit with other people. It's nice. These cab forwards, only the Southern Pacific Railroad here in America used. The reason that they used them is because in the Sierra Nevadas, it snows there a lot, which is weird because you think of Nevada as a desert and it doesn't snow, but apparently up north it does, and it snows a lot. And what they ended up doing, because they got tired of snow blowing the tracks off, is they built snow sheds over the top of the tracks. And they're long. There's a lot of them. There was 39 long tunnels covering up to 40 miles of covered tracks. Well, the downside of this is when the boys were in the steam locomotive and they're going through there and this, you know, the stack is in front of them and it's blowing back this way, they were getting asphyxiated in the cabs. The railroad normally don't really care about their employees dying back in the day, but this must have been happening way too much and somebody was going to say something. So they ended up getting the Baldwin Locomotive Works to come up with this thing called a cab forward. Every one of them that the Southern Pacific had was an oil burner, and they used pressure to pump the oil and the water up from the tender up into the front, and they turned the controls around so the engineer could be standing forward operating the boiler looking out the front of the thing. Great view they had. One guy could look at both sides. I mean, this was the greatest thing next to sliced bread for the Southern Pacific. Ended up they made 256 of these things over the lifespan of using cab forward steam locomotives. They said there was 3 different wheel arrangements, but I couldn't find them. I could find the 2882, I found the 2884, and these are all articulated. So maybe the first one wasn't articulated, one of the two. These were used quite a bit, but the last one was pulled from service in 1958. There's only one Southern Pacific articulated cab forward still in existence. Number 4294 at the Sacramento Railroad Museum out there in the California area. One. Out of 256, they saved one. Lee. The disassembly and the cleaning process is complete on this locomotive. It's time to reassemble it. But it's also another good time to do Classic Model Train's Classic Model of the Week. Do you guys know who this is? If you do, type it down below. If you don't, hang out until the end and we'll let you know who it is. Let's get back to putting this thing together. Well, here's what it come out looking like after we spray painted the flat black on it. And it is flat. I took this one here, same one, same painted, And I gave it a little treatment. I had to, of course, practice putting one together before I tried to film it, because it will reduce filming time by quite a bit. The old boot brush trick. Just give it just some. See this? It makes it better flat black than dull. It just brings it around. I don't know why, but I always use this. If something looks ugly, I just go after the old boot brush. And I just give it some, and it makes it exactly what I wanted. I had to screw these things off of it to be able to get in there and do the kind of work I wanted to do to it. And they're really pretty straightforward. They're only going to go on one way, and it's got a nice timing mark on it. So it's pretty tough to mess it up. They use a lot of Siamese parts on these things, which makes them look scary, but they're not. There's nothing I can really do with that piece there. Get that nice and snugged in there. Everything's looking good this way. Now really what the downside is the stabbing of this back in, and then you got to get these, you got to get this side in here. You got to slide it into this slide. And then you got to get this side, slide into this slide. And then this part right here will end up locking up in there. So you got to do both of them at the same time to make all this happen. And it's not a comfortable, there's a lot of time involved in it. And you got to be super careful, because you can see right now these wheels are actually upside down. The two that are looser in the back, well, this is supposed to be the third axle back from the front. And the reason I found this out was because I blew it with the first set after I had it completely put together. So make sure that the one axle that flops off the back of the geared axle is the back, because that was upsetting. I fought with this one and I cut it all, and then the wheels wouldn't fit because it was upside down. And there ain't nothing I can do to help show this while I'm filming it, other than you just gotta, I mean, it's a mid-grade level modeling thing. Here, this one, somewhat in. Over here, this one's got to be somewhat in. And then once they're both somewhat in, because you see how you get one in and then the other one falls out. Come on now, I had them. They're both started. What's that? Oh my God. Now that they're started on the slides right here, and then the rod is into the steam cylinder, you got to take these timing guys, and they've got to be dropped in from the top. And these knuckles have to be sitting, and you do one, and then you do the other. There, this one went in, and this one refuses to cooperate. That one hangs in there. Come on, we are so close. And after 10 minutes of farting around, this is what we show up with. You got to make sure to get these down here clipped in on the bottom of this. These up here, the knuckles, see that one there fell out again. The wheels, I mean, everything's loose. So you can't get in a big old mad hurry at it, because you'll break something. It is just ridiculous. See, I took that one off, and then to get this thing in, I had it. And then when I go to film it, it fell apart. So this is a serious frustration. If you don't have the patience, don't take one of these things apart at this level. You'll be unhappy, and you won't have a mallet when it's all said and done. Sure. Let's get this little screw in up here to hold this thing in. I can't believe it. We got to jam this gearbox in so we can put this bottom cover on right here. Pull these little bushings back. Just a little. This one, that one opened up. Put a little bit of light oil on it. This is Super Lube. Light oil, synthetic. That one does not want to come off. But we can get some oil in between the bushing and the shaft, we're still doing good. This is going to go in there. Bushing with the T-shape, this little ball feller facing up. These will only lock together one way. They've got pins on them. And this is what holds this whole thing sort of kind of together. Here. And I want to put some Super Lube synthetic grease down here on this worm. Give it a little start. Give it just a little, some. So I can have a good start in life. Now that we've got this all messed up, this ball is going to face down from this direction. Lift both of these up. Get this on this axle with the gear in it, and then you've got to force it back down into the frame, centering it on this hole right there. And it is frightening. because it fits tight. And there's a lot going on here to make a feller nervous. Keeping this lined up. Did I lose it? Seems like it. Feels as though I did. Because this axle's got to be in the slot, the frame, all while lining up with this gearbox onto it. Here, now it's slowly getting its way in there. And then this will be completely inside. It'll be fully centered. And I believe that's going to be it. Yes, this guy's going to go on. This plate here is flush with this. So that is in. Let's give these guys just a taste. Light oil. Here, 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 here. Give it all the opportunities in the world it can have. These two guys, the shoulder bolt, the short one's going to go right up in here. This feller's going to go up here with the truck through it. I should put that in the right direction. Of course, now, you know, it won't freewheel because of the gearbox is in there. Sure. Oh, I got a little excited here. I screwed this truck on way too early because this goes in, this goes in, the bolt, the spring, this. Oh, I've taken it apart 3 or 4 times now because this wire broke off and I didn't realize it was underneath the cover, so we had to take that back off. Got it soldered up. It goes through this little hole underneath the wheel. Hopefully this doesn't short out on anything. So this goes, that little washer that this wire's hooked to, and then you got your screw, you got your washer, then you put on the spring, then you put the little brass bushing in there, and then you screw it all in and you make it tight because the brass bushing is going to keep this from rattling around. I'm getting really pretty good at taking this truck apart and putting it back together. This little screw here, this is flush. This screw here, I'm going to try out this one just for something different. The shoulder screw like that. These will all go in here. Sure, and that keeps a little down pressure on these guys. This screw is going to be underneath of this bar right here. This is going to be like this. So if everybody's snug down here, then we've got this all back together. What a hassle. I mean, make sure to be relaxed when you're doing this. That's the key. That's the most. We're getting ready to put this chassis together, and I've made several attempts at it so far, and I had to delete all the footage because I completely forgot. And I had to go back and look at my video to see how it goes together. So now I'm going to try to get it all in one. So, because I've made 19 mistakes already. If you're not real sure about working on these things, take lots of pictures and shoot a video. So that way, when you forget, you can go back and look at it. I started reassembling this just 9 hours after I disassembled it, and I forgot what screw went where, and oh, what a nightmare. So we're going to start off with this little brass fella right here and these steps. And they're going to lock in up in this area. So we're going to come down from the top, gently spread them, and get them in this area. One of the things I find interesting is how strong all this stuff really is. It looks like it's all tiny and fragile, and it's kind of, you know, it's made for kids to beat around, I guess. I don't know, because it's a lot stronger than I'm going to give it credit for. So that's going to go until it's all the way flush right there. This pin is going to go in from the bottom side where it just sticks up a little bit like that. I had to fight with that on and off. I've almost got these holes stripped out in here. Come from the bottom side, we're going to put a screw here and here. And that's going to be these two. And then this little brass fella right there, he's going to go up in here. Let me see if I can put this one in to hold all this together. Don't tighten these up until you got all 3 of them started and about halfway in. And then finally the third little feller up over here. Now that they're all started, now we can take them all and get them snug. Don't need to take an impact after them. Fantastical. Now the motor. He's going to go down under here. 2 screws that look like that. I find it easy with this little needle nose pliers here to get these things started because, you know, big fingers. It's exactly what I was looking for. That bracket's going to go there, but I believe we need to get this thing up through it first. because that's how I took it apart, and it all sort of fell apart all at once. This wire thing here, and it locks underneath back over here. Now, can I get this guy in? So I took it apart. Not that that makes it right or wrong. This guy was run through here, going up to the front. It's really coming together now. Got this other truck here. Let's say that wire came up through there. This guy right here, he's gonna go down through that hole. Screw into this post right there. And I'm just willing to bet it's kind of deep down inside there. And I'm going to drop this. And then I'm gonna have to take the dang cover off to get it back out. Am I? Did I? No way. Serious? Oh, I did. Ha ha ha. We're gonna put this little strap on right here. This keeps the trucks from spinning too far out to the side. Just got done having my 9th cup of coffee this morning, so yeah, that's working out good for me. Now we've got our chassis back together. Some major components bolted on. They look like they're scary as all get up. They're really not that bad. I think we're going to get the transformer out, get a power supply out here so we can test the motor and make sure that it's getting the juices that it needs. Tender picks up half the juice from the track. And then this right here is a ground because the motor is bolted securely to this. This wire here is actually basically ends up over here, and it's taking care of the light up front, which shockingly works. And the only thing that's screwed into this chassis right here is this one bolt on the front truck. So that means only 4 wheels out of this whole thing are picking up the juice. Maybe this front one over here is. This one here, well, I guess it's got a ground right there also. I'd expect it to have a little better ground. Our motor is definitely doing its thing. I've yet to oil it, so let's just give it just a little touch right there. Let's just have a wick on the back side. I sure don't see one. Well, I don't even know. Well, that's just too bad. Looks like a guy would have to come down into here just a little bit. I don't know if this is a wick. I doubt it. It's got a hole in it. Give it a little taste. Sure. Doesn't seem like this thing's been run a lot. Just gives off those kind of vibes. Time to do the gearboxes and get those things in. These gearboxes are all the same. Gonna use the Super Lube multi-purpose synthetic grease on the gears, and we're going to use the Super Lube multi-purpose synthetic oil on the bushings. So you're gonna get one of these that's got the gear part in it, and one of these that's the lid. We'll give these bushings here a little Earl underneath of them. Open it up underneath. Put it back in. Give the spin if that's what you need to do. This one here, it's got a bushing down in it, right down under here. Little oil right there. We're gonna give a little oil right here because there's the other bushing. And in the Ziploc bag, I found these little guys, thrust washers, and they came off right here. We're gonna put a little taste, just a little here of the synthetic grease on this worm gear. And these can be put together whatever direction you feel like, and whether that's right or wrong, you won't know. This piece drops down into the frame, and then this has got to be, is this going to be the right direction right there? See, this drive line's going to go there. Yeah, that's first shot right out of the park. We're going to put our drive line on the motor. We got to get these guys in. These go down to the drive box down below. I stuck my head in the shot and I could see which direction that's turned. So I could put this on. It felt like it dropped in. We'll turn this till it's lined up. And that one, is it clocked up? Okay, this looks like we might be able to pull this off. It's kind of giving me this feeling like it'd be easier to remove the motor, get this drive box in, and then reinstall the motor to get the drive lines all lined. This is just too much variable taking place all at once. So let me put this in, put these guys on. Then we can turn this to see if the wheels are going to turn. Yes, I see them turning. That is fantastic. So I'm going to pull the motor to get this drive line in here put in. because I believe it's just going to be easier that way. You can roll this, there it is. You can roll that armature with your finger because it's open over on this side here. I'm going to bolt this up and I'll get this other gearbox lubed up, and then of course we'll put this drive line in kind of the same way. There's a lot of lining up to do here, and I can already see that we got to put this guy in facing backwards on that gearbox to make up this room through here. So one goes on one way, one goes on the other way. Turns out you can't do it like that because the drive line is in the way of those two screws when this is all put together, and you can't get the screws in. Engineers, bastards. So we got to do this way, put the drive line in, the drive line going down, and this one here, all got to be put in at the same dang time. I don't know, did I do it? That was unbelievably easy. So that means something's got to be bound up, I'm sure. Wow. Okay, I got her in. Not as bad as the guy thought it would be. Now, one more gearbox. With the second gearbox installed right there, I can spin the motor, and I can see that the wheels are also turning. We're ready to put this on the track and give it a test drive before we throw that shell on. Sir, twist the wick here on it. 10 volt, oh, you crabby. Oh, gotta give it the hand. You know what I realized though? I have not greased all the rods on this thing. I haven't oiled them. We should probably do that because it would probably start a lot better. Because right now, you can listen to it move. Look at the amp meter bolt bounce up and down. Yeah, she needs a little lubrication. If it moves, oil it. Little here, little here, little here. Little drop up there. This is moving here. Is this too much? I don't know. Can it be? Steam locomotives are actually just an oil slick that's rolling up and down the rails. So I'm going to go through this thing, whatever moves, because there's a lot of rods to do. And you guys don't need to sit around and watch me do all this. We have oiled up all these axles before we put it together. I'll catch the front and rear pilots, and then we'll give it another shot. See how well she works. Well, the oil helped it out, but it's still got a bit of a gallop to it. I think if it had a chance to stretch its legs on a big layout with a little load or something like that, it would probably work its way out of there. Everything is doing what it's supposed to do. 1/2 amp right now is all we're pulling at just a tiny little bit than 5 volts. So I'm going to say that this has been a huge success. Time to get that boiler shell put back on. Oh, I could just look at these things run. Look at all this stuff. Loving it. I gotta tell you, I am pushing my 3rd case of these cups right here. They've sold super successful here, the 33%er cups. I spent pretty much all last week on the phone talking to guys all over the place. One of the things that I noticed is that there's a lot of model railroaders out there on the East Coast. And there's a lot of them around the New York area and that place over there. And to us Midwesterners, it's all kind of, you know, the same. And I found out that the television has been lying to me for years because I watched this television program religiously. And then when this one went off air, I watched this one very religiously. And I come to find out that I don't think a single one of them people were from New York. I talked to fellers from New York. I even talked to a guy from Staten Island, which is in the boroughs of where they don't sound like them. Joey Tribbiani didn't even sound like any of the guys I talked to. I'm telling you, the television's been lying to me for years now. Oh, I can't believe it. I really enjoy talking to all the guys out there when I'm selling stuff. These cups, I've talked to, to me, selling cups, if I talk to, well, about 65 people so far, because I'm on my 3rd case of 30, I love it. I love talking to you guys all over the place out here. We sit down and we chat it up. It's just great to hear from other model railroaders all over. I got one guy down there in the Australia area sniffing around for a cup. We're looking out because the shipping might be a lot to get it down there. But I don't think it's going to be as expensive as it is to send something to Canada, which is right next door. But I don't understand why it's so expensive. Speaking of shipping stuff, I am cleaning out a bit of the collection up here. If you can see, there's a few gaps. A lot of these things are kind of the same. And I've done, I don't want to keep doing the same one over and over again, but I can't just store them because they're not going to run. And I think that they need to have someplace to stretch their legs and get out. So that's why I want to move them on down the line. I've listed a lot of these on the eBay here. This one here's the Mantua Mikado. It's all DC in the Southern Road name. This one here's a P2K USRA Mallet. Undecorated, no road name on it at all. This one here is my AHM Rivarossi Big Boy in the Union Pacific 4005. And normally I'd want that up there because it's Union Pacific. But Lynn McCurdy out there sent me up an Athearn Genesis Big Boy, which needs some work done to it. But, you know, AHM, Athearn Genesis, you can understand why a guy would do something like that. Put it up on the market. Somehow I came across a Bachmann Spectrum, an N&W J-Class, this beautiful thing right here, with the extra water tender and the doghouse up on top of the tender. Beautiful, these all run great. And this nightmare right here, I still wake up in cold shivers to it, is that Bowser, that T1, that duplex, the 444 thing that I spent, I think I lost a half a liver on that one right there. I'm not gonna paint it, I'm not gonna finish it up, because I want to run Union Pacific stuff on my layout. So let's get this on down the line. It's a one complete locomotive with enough parts that you can almost build a second locomotive. I'm also going to throw this cab forward in because Union Pacific never used a cab forward. So that's out there on the eBay area. And one of the downsides is I don't have a place for this Mark's Christmas train that I built to be at. So I've got that listed on the eBay. It's going to be an auction. That was the only one that's going to be an auction. These are all just fundraisers for the channel, so that way I could buy more stuff to work on, other different things. Keep the rotating through is kind of what it's all about. People tell me, well, what's your store name? It's Classic Model Trains on eBay. Go up to the search bar. If you're going to search for something, type in Classic Model Trains, and then it'll populate a window. Scroll down to the bottom of the window, it'll say store, Classic Model Trains store. Click on that, that'll bring you to my store. Save me as a seller. That way, whenever I list stuff, it'll let you know I've listed stuff and you can jump right on it. Speaking of jumping right on it, I guess I should get into this and let you guys see what this looks like when it's all put together, running down the track, because it came out, I believe, quite nicely. Tough to make it look cool on a 6-foot test track. I wanted to take it up to the $1 club layout and run it around up there, but I got two problems. One, the layout's DCC right now with no DC capabilities whatsoever. Two, it rained for half a day and then snowed for 2 days. And we got the iciest roads out there you wouldn't believe. Just nasty out there. I got a plan for it though. I'm gonna make it operate like this one does with DC and DCC at the flick of a switch. Our classic model of the week, the Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner. Running to the end of our video here, I want to thank all the 33%ers out there. I got to explain what those are. We've got like 1,000, probably 1,500 more subscribers since the last time I've described what a 33%er is. It's an analytic that YouTube provides for us of watch time with all the people. And what it ends up being is that with the first 30 seconds, you lose 33% of your crowd because usually they're just scrolling over the buttons or something like that. And if it autoplays, the video autoplays for half a second, they count that as a view. 30 seconds, you've got half your crowd left, 66%. And then over the video, people just, I don't know, I guess they just have a hard time committing to stuff. It's what happens from watching shorts all the time. You get a short attention span. The people that stick with us for the whole time, 33%ers. That's usually what happens with the video, no matter what length it is of mine. Other people might have different stuff. I don't know. So a 33%er, somebody that watches my video from the beginning to the end, all at once, one pull all the way through. Once again, thanking all my channel members out there. We've got a couple more new ones that jumped on board. We're up to like 75 channel members now. Fantastic. Thank you guys. Journey level and higher will get a chance to see this video before anybody else. As one of the perks, they'll see the stuff that's for sale if they haven't run into it on eBay already, and then they get a first chance of buying it. So that's one of the perks of being a journey level or higher, so you get to buy stuff before anybody else knows about it. If you want to check out a great video on working on an AHM Rivarossi big boy, take a look at this video right here. Bye-bye.